Hello everyone and welcome back to Deck Tech Tuesday. In this series, I go over a random deck from a random format of my choosing and try to explain the inner workings of said deck. For this week, I brought on Coach from the Card Bazaar to go over his mono green Infect list for Pauper. Every once in a while, I plan on featuring other content creators' decks as a way to share ideas and to strengthen our community. Anyways, let's dive into the build.
Hey everybody, Coach from the Card Bazaar, and today I'm here to present a deck tech to you guys for the Pauper format. Tasty Snackies and I have been collaborating with each other's channels for this video, so we are breaking away from the card anthology style videos and the MTG set history videos, and are instead showing you a deck tech that you can play against other players right now. So here is Mono Green Infect. The playstyle of an Infect deck is to deal 10 points worth of damage in what is known as poison counters. Usually in a typical game of Magic, the goal of most strategies is to deal 20 life points of damage over the course of a game. But when it comes to Infect decks, you will need to do half the damage as of usual strategies. Needless to say, Infect strategies have some advantages. The Infect deck tech I'll be going over will cost you around 19 tickets on Magic the Gathering Online, while in the physical paper format, it will run you about $37. So let's get started. First off, we'll begin with the creatures. There are a total of 17 creatures in the deck and are the source of damage for the strategy. Starting with our 1-mana creatures, we have 4 copies of Glistener Elf and 2 copies of Llanowar Augur. These are necessary to take control of the board as early as possible in order to start assaulting our opponent on the next turn. Glistener Elf will most of the time be your early attacking creature, while Llanowar Augur is there to support other creatures you control. Next are the 2-mana creatures, which contain 4 copies of Blight Mamba and 4 copies of Ichorclaw Myr. These are slightly stronger Infect creatures, with Blight Mamba being able to be regenerated and Ichorclaw Myr becoming stronger when opposing creatures get in the way of its attack. The last of our creatures, which are the 3-mana creatures, contain 3 copies of Rotwolf. Rotwolf is our strongest base creature that can also draw you a card if you end up killing an opposing blocking creature. This means that you have a chance of getting cards you need by drawing through your deck. Now onto our non-creature spells. There are 24 non-creature spells in total. Starting with our only enchantments, this deck is running 4 copies of Rancor. This will boost the power of one of our creatures, plus giving said creature trample. On top of that, if Rancor is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, it comes back to your hand, ready to be used again on another one of our creatures. Continuing on, we have our 1-mana instant spells, which incorporate 4 copies of Giant Growth, 4 copies of Vines of Vastwood, and 2 copies of Groundswell. Giant Growth and Groundswell can boost our creatures attacking our opponent, while Vines of Vastwood protects our attackers from opposing spells and abilities, and can also have the option of being kicked to strengthen one of our chosen creatures. The last of our instant spells are our mana option spells, which include 4 copies of Apostle's Blessing and 4 copies of Mutagenic Growth. These cards have the option of paying mana and or 2 life to cast these spells, with Apostle's Blessing protecting one of our creatures from a chosen color, and Mutagenic Growth, which can pump one of our creatures for possibly 0 mana. The land base is quite simple for this deck tech. The land base contains 2 Colonies Gardens to give us an extra creature when it enters the battlefield, and 17 forests to make the total number of our lands to 19. And to finish up this deck tech, let's go through our sideboard and our board generalization of what each card does. We have 2 copies of Crop Rotation to thin out the lands in our library in order to get a better chance of drawing non-land cards. We will run into decks that will make us play our style of game longer, such as blue. In order to prepare for this, Crop Rotation will serve as a way to get our non-land spells and stock up in order to play against a very counter-heavy blue deck. 2 copies of Ranger Guile for a slight pump and having one of our creatures gain Hexproof. This will help us against black decks where the color is known for destroying creatures, along with red decks that can also destroy our creatures through their burn spells. This ensures that we have a better chance of protecting our creatures since it is the backbone of Infect. We have 2 copies of Lignify to weaken our opponent's big creatures and transform it into a tree folk. Lignify is in the deck to combat the big creatures of green, along with a couple of black creatures that have been prominent in Pauper by making them pretty much a useless defender. 3 copies of Corpse Cur to bring out other creatures back to our hand. This creature will help us combat decks that have large board states, and is also another way to deal with creatures getting destroyed by bringing a creature back in our hand. 1 more copy of Rotwolf to bring even more creatures to the game if we need help to make a bigger board presence and to have a better chance of getting Infect to our opponent. This is usually to fight token decks that white is usually associated with. 1 copy of Phytoburst to add a large pump sorcery to the arsenal and give us an opportunity to hit significant Infect damage possible by turn 2. We will usually play this against blue to gain an upper hand before blue can even gain a foothold in its strategy. And lastly, 1 copy each of Nature's Claim, Prey Upon, Tangle, and Miltani's Decree, which range from fighting creatures your opponent controls to other effects such as destroying enchantments. These cards will help against heavy enchantment and creature decks that you typically won't see. These cards are in here to combat the unknown, the deck styles that are not used as often, or that do not follow the meta of the format. And that is all I had today for this deck tech. What are your thoughts on this version of Mono Green Infect? Let us know in the comments. Also, make sure you get a chance to check out our YouTube channel, The Card Bazaar. Our big series is our Card Anthology series, which goes over the brief history of each set in Magic the Gathering, starting with Alpha and Beta, which has now hit over 20,000 views. This is Coach signing out, and I will see you guys next time.
Thank you, Coach, for showing all of us your Mono Green Infect deck tech. And like he said before, what did you all think of the build? Did you like it? And is there anything you'd change in the list? Let us know in the comment section down below, and let me know what you think about these collaborations. Feedback is absolutely key in providing you all great content, so anything that you would like to say would be greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I make weekly deck techs just like this one and many more other types of Magic the Gathering videos for all of you to enjoy. Anyways, I'm Tasty Snackies, you all have been wonderful, and I'll catch you on the flip side.